So Hasbro's track record for combiners have been interesting. We got G1 combiners and their Scramble Cityness, and then there was also Predaking and Devastator. Then we got weird with combiners making things like the Energon shirt and pants. Well, we also got Energon combiners like Bruticus, which were fine. They had no elbows, nor did they have proper hands or feet. Then we got Power Core, and these were weird too. Then we got Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, and that was a whole mess. Like, combiners were weird before we got to Combiner Wars, and now we have to wait and see what Legacy has to offer. And I'm so far, I'm liking it. I mean, we haven't seen any combined modes, but Dragstrip looks really nice. He also looks like a piece of cheese. Anyways, again, just a reminder, got a P.O. box. Here's the address. Box 301, 701 Rossland Road East. Postal code, I'm still forgetting. Send whatever you want there if you want to. And I will probably take a look at it at the end of this year. Whatever's come in, because there's a couple of things that have come in so far. Here I have some examples of the middle of that time period. Power Core Combiners. Released as part of the Generations line, but is also often confused as being part of the movie toy line, because a couple of them appeared in Cyber Missions and one of them appeared in the comic books, like the movie comics. And they have a very movie aesthetic, which I'll talk about in a second. So Power Core at its, core, funny joke, I am comedian, please subscribe, was a really cool concept that just wasn't executed very well. But the concept, from what I can gather, was basically you buy the packs with 1 core bot and 4 drones, and you can buy what I'm calling booster packs, which come with 1 core and a Minicon Target Master to use as different torsos for your drones. And you would also have the Minicons that become chest plates. I love the concept, but I think the limbs are a real deal breaker for a lot of people. That and the plastic. I've had a lot of people tell me their old PCC sets broke, and if you've got double clutch in the rally bots, I mean, if you want to see how bad that thing is, go watch MGo's review on it. I'll link it below. It's pretty funny. So I've got 3 combiner sets and 1 booster pack here. So we'll start with the torsos. They're scouts. They're some of the most fun scouts to me, and I love these figures, but let's start with one of the boosters. This is Huffer, and like I said before, these feel like they were supposed to be movie toys. They look a lot like movie scouts. The way that the arms are, the way the chest looks, it's very Bayverse aesthetic, and the others are kind of like that as well, but Huffer does look cool. Mine hasn't aged well, having a lot of loose joints, and if I'm being honest, the figure's kind of bland. Like, it looks neat, but it doesn't do anything interesting. It plays it safe a lot, and even then it can't get that right sometimes. The head looks okay, but the paint on the head, and honestly on the whole toy, just looks off. Not in like the colors, but in its actual application, something just feels off. And that's my verdict on this robot mode. It feels off. Like, it looks okay, but it doesn't do anything neat like the others that make me gravitate towards it. He just kind of lives forgotten on my brand new shelves. He does come with a Minicon, kind of sucks. Get it out of here. On to the next one. Mudslinger. Starting with the first of our 5 packs, we got the Monster Truck Lad Mudslinger. He's my least favorite of the robot modes from the combiner sets, because the clearance and tolerances on this guy are really odd. And on the wiki, it states as PCC sets would break due to fragile plastics and weird joint tolerances. And that's what this feels like here. The design, love it. But the toy's longevity, oof. But so far, it's lasted. And I got this brand new to make sure it didn't come with any stresses or breakages, is what I would say if the toy didn't snap while I was writing this video. It wasn't even like a snap. It like just kind of fell off like a clean break. A clean break? I don't know what that means. Like, I picked it up off the table and the leg stayed on the table. This sucks. The vehicle mode was so nice and now it doesn't hold together. Ugh. Steam Hammer. On to the Construction Lad Steam Hammer. This robot does not like to stay together. The back of the shoulders refuse to tab in. The backpack is super floppy, and oh, it's a big ass backpack. He does use the power core parts as heels, so that helps him stand, but he still likes to fall over a lot because the backpack is just that big. I do really like the claws on him. They look like cool, badass melee weapons, and I do like the way that the legs transform, and they end up looking really good in robot mode, ignoring the big bright Allspark blue zits on the back of them. I showed this to my mom and she said that the nose looks funny, and that made me look at the face more, and the paint is not great. It's all just a mess on his face, and it's kind of unfortunate, but there are other bits that make me like him a little bit more than Mudslinger, one of them being that he's still in one piece. But let's get to my favorite, Bombshock. This has to be one of my favorite scouts ever made. Yes, the blue pustules are still hanging off, but other than that, I think it looks really neat. Really gives off those military vibes, like those small onslaught look, and the colors are just on point for this toy. I like it. I love the bits of yellow that are dispersed around the toy. They help break up all that green and make the whole toy pop a bit more. The torso looks clean yet detailed enough to seem robotic, and sometimes that's hard. I'm looking at you, Steamhammer. His torso looks like crap. The head also looks cool with the goggles and the red paint. The paint, I really love the way the eyes are painted. They're done so well. Just overall, this Scout is a pretty good purchase. I'd say it's worth picking up even if you just get the booster pack Autobot version, because that one looks cool too. I will say his feet can be a little annoying at times because they stick out just a bit more than the heels do, so he likes to rock back and forth quite a bit. You just got to angle it to get the perfect stance, but it is kind of annoying. Overall, the Scouts are fine. They aren't the most out there and interesting of Scouts to exist, like Huffer, but for the most part, they're pretty fun and decent. One thing Power Cores have is the reputation to break, like I said, so be careful when handling these, or you'll end up like my Mudslinger, because now I gotta use my TFCon budget to go buy a new one. Pain. The posing in general on them, I mean, they're Scouts, what do you expect? Well, I'll tell you one thing I wasn't expecting to get, which was modern articulation on one of them. Bombshock is just great, while Steamhammer is probably the weakest in posing because of his stupid backpack, but Bombshock has all the joints you'd want, besides like ankle pivot, and you're not getting it on a toy like this. So this guy has more posing than most core class figures, which is saying a lot, so I'm very pleased with how this guy turned out. Transforming them all is so easy because they're literally just small Scouts. So there isn't really much to them. Simple and easy to do for their size, and that's all that's needed. No, Mudslinger won't stay together because of his busted ass leg. Before we take a look at the 4 and their alt modes, let's take a look at the drones. That's a lot more drones than I thought I'd have. Okay. If the torsos are Scout / Legend / Core class size, then these drones are Legion size-ish. And they don't do anything other than just sit there. I mean, some of them have functions, mainly the construction team that comes with Steamhammer, but for the most part, they're just little vehicles that don't really scale with anything. Some of them are Micromaster scale, but some of them are not, and it shows. Again, the construction team, I know that's going to bother some people, the scale nuts out there. These don't really scale with anything. Like, these whole sets just don't scale at all. They do have a healthy amount of paint and detail on them, and they look great with each other, but even as sets, they don't scale or fit with their respective leaders. Then again, Blastoff is a shuttle that's on the military team, and he's huge, so combiners don't really make sense anyways. The actual vehicles of the Scouts look pretty good for the most part. But yes, I will say, the bright blue middle fingers hanging off them do look bad. If they had just gone with another color, it would have been okay, but they stuck with Allspark Blue. I know why they chose Allspark Blue for like the kids and the whole Power Core gimmick. It still doesn't look nice. My favorite vehicle has to be Mudslinger, because how often do we get monster truck transformers? Not very. Dirt Boss and Grindor, not the movie one, are the only ones that come to my mind. Again, that's what I would say though if you still had one piece. The vehicle modes overall do look nice, and they all pretty much cohesively transform, minus some small bits of kibble and those damn blue peepees hanging off of them. But the main reason you buy, the main reason most people buy these, the reason I bought them was for the Scouts, but most people buy these things is for the combined modes. And Mudslinger's just chilling in the back there while Huffer takes his place. But combined mode, yeah. Yeah. They're unique, I'll give them that. But these things are objectively not great. They look awkward and cumbersome. Combining them is a bit of a mess because the grips aren't good. So either you get limbs that fight you or that refuse to stay on once you put them on. If you got loose knees or hips in your Scouts, then good luck trying to get them standing. And the arms. Yes, they look like scraggly crab arm things that are just thrown in there. They throw the looks off. However, there are upgrade kits out there to give you new limbs for your torsos. I think it was TFC who made them. They came out a long time ago, but you can find them on eBay and at conventions for decent prices. I mean, their charm is their look, but when your charm is that you look terrible, then there goes your sales. And that's probably what happened to this line, because it didn't last very long, ending up on the shelves of Walmart at the end of its lifespan, being sold as 2 packs of combiners and boosters for just $10, and still nobody bought them. Most of that was objective though, because subjectively I do like having them, mainly for the Scouts, but the drones do look cool, and like I said, I do enjoy the concept more than the actual execution. They could have been done way better, but due to probably time, budget, focus, etc., they got the short end of pretty much everything. I mean, they're short too, so there's that. They are like Voyager, bordering on modern leader-ish scale. They're not the biggest things in the world. Honestly, I don't know if I can recommend these, even though I personally don't mind them. The booster scouts are really cool though, because they're just scouts with minicons. So I can recommend getting a bunch of those, especially like the tank one. He's really cool. But like I said, be careful because of stupid Mudslinger. But are they worth their asking prices on the secondary market? I would say no. I mean, like, if you can get them for, like I said, if you can get a combiner for like $10, $15, then I would say try picking one up just for the scout alone. If you have a Hot Wheels collection, the drones can kind of fit in with the Hot Wheels cars, I think. I don't know. I don't have any Hot Wheels on hand. I literally don't have any Hot Wheels. But for the most part, they're just meh. And I don't know if they're worth spending your money on. If you really like the concept, by all means, get a whole bunch more. I do plan on getting a few more simply for the scouts again, but it's up to you really. But I would honestly say stay away unless you can get them for like a cheap price. But that's my look at Power Core Combiners. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.